So, Concord, you guys remember Concord? Who can how can anyone forget Concord? It was such a great game. It sold millions of copies. Oh wait. Also, you're also probably wondering why I'm wearing a hoodie. That's so I can hide things like this. Adam. Mwah. He's like, I don't want any of your nonsense, Grandpa. I'm going over there to lay with Uncle Roxas. No, it's like 50 degrees out right now. So for me, because I've got the fibromyalgia thing, for me, hot is hotter, cold is colder. So for me, it feels like it's 20 degrees out right now. So I've got my jacket, I've got my pajama pants on. So it's cold, and it's gonna be like this till Sunday. Which, I mean, great. I prefer it over 80, not something 90 degrees. But anyway, failing up. Failed Concord dev Professor Brown lands major gig at EA. Professor Brown fails upwards. Concord's controversial developer lands at EA. Disclaimer: this article is for informational and commentary purposes only. Please do not harass, contact, or threaten any of the individuals mentioned. Criticism is directed at industry trends and public behavior only. Never attack personal attacks. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, here we go. In the never-ending spinning revolving door of AAA game development, another familiar name has reemerged once again. Lisa Brown from out of town. I had a friend in school named Charlie Brown. Like, his name was legitimately Charlie Brown, and he just kind of embraced it. He knew that his entire life he'd have to deal with your good man, Charlie Brown. And I remember going to the diner once and he was there. And then our family and his family sat together and had breakfast together. Your good man, Charlie Brown. But yeah, I had a friend named Charlie Brown in not middle school, elementary school. I think it was like, what, 4th, 5th grade or something? Something like that. Lisa Brown, or more infamously known as Professor Brown, the former lead developer at Firewalk Studios, which doesn't exist anymore, on the ill-fated live service shooter Concord. Someone who I've spoken about in depth previously, thanks to an insider reaching out with some scathing claims. According to her now updated LinkedIn profile, Brown has landed a new gig. It's a security gig. Full disclosure? No. High turnover, that's what we call it in the business, but you get to be your own boss. Kind of. And you only have one job: keeping people out and making sure things are, tidy. That's 2 things. You want the job or not? How's the pay? Not great. But the hours are worse. Oh, Matthew Lillard, we love you. New time a gig. This time Electronic Arts. Shocker. Where she just started working there this month, April 2025, as a principal world designer. I hate when they do this. Can I just, background? Usually it's just I have to put up that. Yeah. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. That's right. After Concord's insane flop, the game that was so amazing, it was removed from online and store shelves 2 weeks after it was launched because the world just couldn't handle how amazing it was. Yeah, that game. And expected Firewalk Studios' subsequent shutdown on top of a reported $400 million. That's a lot of zeros. Brown has now officially failed upward, earning a high-ranking position at another massive publisher. Ironically, it's EA. I was gonna say EGAD, and then for some reason EGAY came out because I was gonna say, GAD, but then EA, so it came out as EGAY. EA, the very same company that owns BioWare, which many may recall, recently went through a painful restructuring and layoffs, moved suspiciously timed right after several senior developers jumped ship, like Kareem Bush. Among those early escapees, Kareem Bush, the former game director for Dragon Age: The Failguard, who somehow promptly landed at Skeleton Key Studios, a Wizards of the Coast owned studio. And now we see this exact same cycle unfolding here with Brown. The industry can be boiled down to a merry-go-round of ideological aligned developers cycling to and fro, up and down, back and forth, in and out, hibbity hobbity, over the river and through the woods, lickety split, clocking a jizz, grinding the axe, up to no good. Dr. Trad. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I really don't. Between collapsing projects, accomplishing nothing, but leaving a destruction of studios in their wake, only to then somehow land cushy new roles via their established industry connections. At some point, we need to ask, who is hiring these people? The hiring managers, the talent, or whatever they call them over there. That's who. A quick recap: what happened to Firewalk? They got shut down. Lisa Brown, known as Wardle, Wartortle, on Twitter, now protected mode after public backlash, and looks to have deleted all followers and info because that's what these cowards do, made waves during her time at Firewalk. After declaring herself non-binary to the world for some reason, Brown reportedly then insisted on being referred to as the professor. What are you, the doctor now? The doctor. Hello, the doctor. In the workplace, despite having no academic credentials to back having that title. According to my sources, company meetings were forced to adapt to her, using phrases like teaching learning with the professor, which reportedly created quite the discomfort among team members who felt unable to object in Firewalk's highly progressive environment. Things escalated beyond these mere semantics. A whistleblower previously blew a whistle, revealed to us that Brown openly expressed anti-gun views. Wow, what a big shocker there. While at the same time, ironically, developing a hero shooter, no less. The irony. It's the same kind of cognitive dissonance. Dissonance we saw with the developer on Halo Infinite. These are individuals who seemingly despise very mechanic central to the game they're making. I hate guns and violence. Let's make a game about guns and violence. Worse yet, according to my source, Brown allegedly pushed for the firing of any unvaccinated employee at the studio back during the peak of COVID, contributing to what was described as a divisive, fear-based workplace culture where political beliefs trumped. Now that's what those people do. Some people just outright didn't go to work because, oh no, Orange Man was elected. Oh no, our mentally fragile minds can't handle it. Guys, can we just take the days off for the next week because we're going to need to emotionally and mentally prepare? Merit and cohesion. So when Concord failed, again, it's just like what's the point of having this? Like, see, it's like you just saw me do this before. Like, why does it always just apply? Why does it always go back to being default? I have to do this every single time. All just because you guys don't want to get flashbanged. Now Brown has taken up residence. Spectacular. Concord failed quite spectacularly. It wasn't just the game mechanics or market competition to blame. It was a direct symptom of a broken internal structure driven by misplaced priorities and ideological rigidity, rigidity. But don't worry, because of course she'll land on her feet. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, most of them do. Because no one ever learns. No one ever learns. Let's just take a person who ruined one game and just have them work on this one. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Now Brown has taken up residence at EA, an environment notorious for its own bureaucratic pitfalls, anti-consumer practices, and shifting DEI initiatives. Will history repeat itself? Will Goku and Frieza ever stop their long war together and finally become friends? Find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. They're friends, let's admit it. They may hate each other sometimes, but they're rivals, they're friends. Friends who just don't like each other. You know, we all have those friends, I think. But, you know, anyway. It possibly, in fact, I'd almost bet on it. Almost. Let's be real, it's hard to feel bad for EA ever. It's a corporation that has time and time again proven themselves unable to learn from. Pretty much all corporations are like that now. All gaming, actually no, media like Hollywood, gaming companies, they're all like that. They fail to learn, and they claim to be college educated, proving once again that college doesn't make you smart. You may have book smarts, but they're all lacking common sense, critical thinking, logistical thinking. So the stuff that really helps you survive in life, they're just lacking, just completely lacking. Maybe Brown is the perfect match. As with many others, the trajectory showcases how the AAA gaming industry continues to reward ideology and connections over competence and results. Yeah, because why hire someone who knows how to do the job when you can hire someone who helped tank an entire game that cost $800 million to make over the course of, what was it, 10 years? So, why do that? Who cares about talent? We need to make sure that our ideological bullcrap is upheld. The video game industry's in desperate need of a reset. A hard reset, not a soft reset, a hard reset. This is Exhibit A of that fact. Talented devs are being overshadowed by these activists in gaming dev clothing. Individuals more interested in pushing their politics and making than making compelling games. Lisa Brown's swift fall from Firewalk, followed almost immediately by her soft landing a few months later at EA, is just another chapter in a long book of self-sabotage. The industry refuses to stop writing. Yep, the cycle will continue. It's going to take a while to get rid of the people that enable the nepotism that allows failures to keep working. Fortunately, they have to develop decent games to stop failing, and that is beyond them. Yeah, they're incapable now. These people are incapable of making good games now. It's ridiculous in the real world she would be working as a checkout girl at a retail company after losing a company $400 million. This might be a good thing. Maybe this might be a good thing. Maybe this person will get EA shut down. One can only hope. But yeah, I mean, is anyone really surprised? This sort of industry doesn't value and appreciate actual talent anymore. They just they hire those who have the same political ideology as them. And then you wonder why the games are so bad. That's why it's bad. Because they're not interested in making good games. They're not. If they were, 2024 would have been amazing for games. But no, everything that came out from, EA or BioWare or Compulsion, whatever. Ubisoft. Look at all the flops Ubisoft had. If they truly cared about making a good game now, we wouldn't have had nearly as many failures. But they don't care about that. As long as they can insert, self-inserts and their ideological crap, they don't care. And that's why so many people are buying older consoles and playing older games, because they don't have to worry about it. People were like, I'm busting out my GameCube. I'm busting out the Nintendo 64. Because the games were good. The characters were good. Like, Quest 64 is as bad of a game as it is. It had a lot of potential, and I would love to see it remade, fully realized. But that game is still better than most games that come out today. And that's hard to do. I mean, Quest 64 is still a better game than most of the crap that comes out now. Make it make sense. But people are busting out like the original Nintendo. Because same thing. It's like, at least the games were fun. They were short, but then again, apparently the game that just came out, South of Midnight, it's like 7 hours. You can beat the entire game in one sitting. But yeah, it's people like this that are ruining the game industry and just media in general. Between Hollywood, games, it's people like her. People like her. But they don't care. They don't care. No one seems to care anymore, and that's why everyone's perfectly fine pushing out crap. And then you have the simps and the shills online, like, oh my god, leave the big company alone. And they tolerate the crap. And then anyone who speaks out against it is shut down. And they're perfectly fine getting slop. Like, oh, well, we haven't had this in years, so just be glad you're getting something at all. I'd rather have nothing. I'd rather have nothing and be happy about it. But anyway, that's going to do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.